is a community of church media professionals, broaden your expertise and your experience. So today, by way of divine arrangements, we have two experts, our senior colleagues in the media industry, as our guests. I would read from Mr. Charles's bio, a short bio, before I read about Mr. Gbenga. So Mr. Charles is a finance professional by weekday and a media technology consultant by weekends and nights. He has been a core media technology architect for about a decade, 10 years, guys. That's not beans. He pioneered and currently leads the media team of Harvesters International Christian Center, the Lekki campus. He's passionate about cost-effective, innovative excellence with a knack for finding a pathway towards achieving excellent thresholds in milestones without breaking the bank. I like that part. You don't want to break the bank. You want cost-effective solutions. That's what we're talking about today. So Mr. Charles is also a member of this Church Media Professionals Network. So, ladies and gentlemen, can we give a round of applause for our fantastic guest on today's forum, Mr. Charles Ileogbin? All right, I can't hear the claps. I can't hear the claps. Somebody unmute your mic. Put that together. Fantastic, fantastic. All right, Mr. Charles.
Thank you so much.
Let me go to.
Awesome. It's my boss.
Good to have you, sir. Good to have you. Who said that? He's your boss, right? He's everybody's boss tonight. Oh. All right, so let me move quickly to our next second guest tonight. Mr. Olugbenga Shodunke is a software consultant with over 15 years experience in developing software to automate business processes and to solve organizations' operational challenges. He currently leads the team at Zionel, a talent accelerator company, as the CEO. He has vast experience in raising and managing tech teams to execute digital transformation strategies. He is a software development trainer and lead faculty at Zionel Tech Academy, where they are raising next generation of world-class elite tech talents across several tech roles. He's a founder. He's also the founder of Waystream.io. You need to check that out. That's Africa's first live audio broadcast and podcast platform, which empowers young Africans to talk, share their experiences, and explore the world of audio creativity. He has special interest in artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. He is head of eChurch at Eternal Glorious Fountain Ministry, EGFM, and is also an executive ambassador of Church Media Professionals Network. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Gbenga Shodunke with a warm round of applause. I can't hear your clapping. I can't hear your welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, so without wasting too much of our time, I think what we'll do is for starter, I would ask the question. I'll first have Mr. Gbenga takes come back it up, or we can move to the second question. Let's do it like that. So you answer the first question, the next person answers. So, Mr. Charles, this is for you. What equipment and software do we need to get started with live streaming? Okay, you want to say something?
No, go ahead with your question.
Fantastic. Okay, what equipment and software do we need to get started with live streaming our church services? You know, live streaming has become a big thing now in churches, and some pastors have been known to get very, very angry when the live stream breaks. You know why? The number of people inside the church is always far less than the number of people online. So for a church of say 1,000 people, they're probably reaching like 10,000 people online. So when the stream breaks, there's a problem. So let's go into that first question. What do we need to even set up ourselves? Let's say we're just starting.
Okay, so now before I answer that question, I just want
Charles,
to
you can
give
take
a
the floor.
yeah, please. Can you hear me? Confirm you can hear me, please.
Live and clear.
Awesome. So I was saying that before we discuss equipment, we need to know that your live stream infrastructure rides on your production infrastructure for your actual service. So it's one thing to say, what do we need to start live stream? But the question is, where are you regarding your production in church? Because whatever you are sending online is whatever you are doing in church. So the question is, where are you at that point? Now, like I said, like I would always advise my clients, start from where you are. Don't first of all think about, oh, let me go and get the biggest software and the most expensive implementation. Before, you can always upgrade from one thing to another. So for me, the two key things you need, if you're going to start live streaming, the most important thing you need is you need a video capture device. Because the truth is, you have situations where, oh, you have what they call it, you have your production in church, you are set up in church, you are sending video signals to your screens or to your projector. So good at that point, maybe just directly from your video mixer you send to your screen or projector. Now when you want to do live streaming, two things. Now there are encoders or encoder devices to use. However, I always recommend streaming for a software like a vMix, or if you want to use an OBS or something. Now, for you to be able to use such software to stream, you need a video capture device. That is the most important or key element. If you are using an encoder, a hardware device, you may not really need a video capture because your video is going straight to the encoder and straight to the internet, straight to your platforms. Why I prefer software for streaming like OBS or vMix is because it allows you some form of flexibility. Yes, I've not worked so much with encoders, so I can't tell you much on that. Now, the second most important thing, which is not within your control, is your internet service provider. You need so that's a very interesting topic. So this is a challenge. It's a challenge majorly in Nigeria, but not necessarily all over the world, where you have internet service provider, your MTN, your Glo, your Airtel. They prioritize download bandwidth. They don't prioritize upload. And for streaming, you need a service provider with good speeds. Now, the truth is, if you want to get dedicated internet, which is for corporate organizations like a church, it is quite expensive. So you may need to work around that and see, how can what is the best internet I can use? Now, regarding the best internet to use, it varies from location to location. Yes, a lot of people will say fiber is good. However, you need to know if the fiber is good in your location. Not necessarily that it is good and it is good everywhere. You need to be able to test your speed. Of course, so before you even try to buy or purchase an internet or subscribe to an internet service, I suggest if you can see someone that uses such service, check the download speed, check the upload speed, ask for feedback on how consistent it is. So you can have some internet service that are giving you as much as 5 to 8 Mbps download and maybe 2 to 3 Mbps upload, right? However, 30% of the time they are down. Such an internet, no matter how high you can go, it is going to affect your live stream. So two things you need for your internet service: you need decent upload speed for different upload speed. Then you also need reliability, consistency. The efficiency of your internet service should be at least it should be in the range of 90%, 90 to 95%. That's my suggestion. Now, because we know that we're in Nigeria, and no matter how consistent your ISP is, there will be days
Yeah.
where it will mess up. So
Yeah.
we always suggest you do something called you implement a redundancy system, right? Now there are ways to implement redundancy and load balancing, and one of you would have heard of something called aggregators. There are devices they call aggregators or internet bonding devices where you can have multiple ISPs connected, and then you can more like spread your bandwidth or create some form of redundancy. Now, such
Okay.
devices are expensive. Sincerely, they're expensive. You can get aggregators can go aggregator switches or routers can go for as much as 1.5 to even 6 million, depending on what you are using, right? So if you are starting small, there is this software aggregator that exists. It's called Speedify. You can just go and click online. Speedify.
Okay.
It allows you to connect a LAN, a Wi-Fi. If your CPU can have multiple LAN cards, you can use at least 3 separate internet service providers to create some form of redundancy. Of course, it's subscription-based service, but it's not something that will break the bank. Do you get? So if you are starting small, I suggest you go for something like a Speedify for your internet service. Then that is where you start from. Now, your production, like I said, start from where you are. It's very difficult to recommend a best or something. The reality is we have people that are excellent using OBS for streaming. We have people that are excellent using vMix for streaming. We have people that use encoders for streaming. So it's different whether you use hardware or software.
Yeah.
How versatile are you with the application you use? That's one. Secondly, how can you integrate it to your existing live production set? It's easy to say, I want to do this, I want to do that. Can you integrate it? You're saying you want to stream at 1080p, yet you're using an analog, what they call it, an analog camera. At the end of the day, there is no way you can achieve a 1080p. No, your 1080p will not be true 1080p, no matter what you do. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So what you need to first of all do is access your current state. Where are you? Then look for cost-effective solutions, whether it's going to vMix subscription, whether it's you buying an encoder, whether it's you using OBS that can work with your, or whether you using Resi. Like for instance, there are people that use ProPresenter software for stream for their worship and all that. Now, let's assume you're using ProPresenter, for instance. You have just one camera that you really do not do anything with. You just push it to the screen, right? Now, you want to go to online streaming. One of the things I would have advised is if you are not big on, you've not gotten a video mixer, not had so many things yet, you can just get a video capture card. Send in your live feed to your ProPresenter and use it as your background. You do lower thirds for your lyrics, you do lower thirds for your scriptures. I hope I'm not going too detailed, but yeah, I'm sure this is a technical session, so we should understand some of these things. Then now,
I want to tell people, sorry, sir, I want to tell people to get their notes. You need to write, gentlemen, ladies. You need to write. I'm writing as he's speaking, and I'm already doing a page, sir. Please fire on.
Yeah. So if you, for instance, you are able to send your signal to your ProPresenter, you can always integrate a ProPresenter with a Resi. A Resi allows you to stream to multiple platforms. So if you can start from there and then you can upgrade or change whatever you want to do. However, if you already have a complex production setup where you have a video mixer with 3 cameras and all that, then the best way to go is to rather use a vMix, where you bring in your content from your scripture, your lyrics, you bring them to your vMix, you bring your output from your mix to your vMix, and then you stream from vMix. It gives you more flexibility. You can do multiple camera mix and at the same time stream that online. So that's what I would suggest. But what I would say is, wherever you are, start from there. When you are starting, you may need to do some consultation. You may need to ask people. That's why it's good to join the Church Media X platform, where you can get free consultation. But there are times that you may actually need to do a paid consultation for, so that you don't make mistakes. Do you get? But if you are not doing pay, you want free consultation, then join the Church Media X platform, because there you can ask any questions and people will just share from experience and give some ideas on what you can do. Always start from where you are. Your production can be as simple as streaming to one platform, and as complex as streaming to multiple platforms. Now, I'm going to note a warning. If you intend to stream to multiple pages, just YouTube, you want to send to YouTube, to Instagram, to Facebook and Twitter at the same time, trust me, don't do that on your internet bandwidth. You will degrade your signals. At such point, you need to probably subscribe to something like Resi, or you do a cloud implementation, or you use things like InstaFeed or Caster. Those are applications that have already extended that can extend your streaming capabilities. So what happens with a lot of these applications is you send your streaming to the application. Your stream key is you stream to the application, then the application stream to your platforms. Do you understand? So rather than you streaming to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram at the same time on the same MTN or Glo or Airtel bandwidth, you are going to have a degraded signal, significantly degraded signal. So what I suggest is you stream to one platform, maybe whether Resi, whether a Caster, whether you want to use your InstaFeed, and then, or you can even implement a cloud solution. Like in my church, we implement a cloud solution. We literally have a server on the cloud. We stream to the server, and then from the server, we stream to all our platforms. Now, of course, that is more technical. You may require some consultation to be able to do that. But I know there's a Caster in the market. I know there is a Resi in the market that can do things like that. So basically, I don't advise you stream to multiple platforms from your internet. No matter how many internet you're aggregating, please avoid it as much as possible.
Fantastic. Mr. Charles, you did a fantastic job there. Thank you so much. There's a lot you touched on, but a summary of what you said is, number one, assess your current level. That's where you start from. Start from where you are, then look for cost-effective solutions. There's something that you are very big on, and that is consultation. Consult. And like you said, free consultation is good, but sometimes you have to grow. And to get free consultation, like he said, join Church Media X on WhatsApp. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Charles. That was very, very enlightening. I'm going to go to second question now. And I'm going to ask Mr. Gbenga. Let me quickly bring up my questions list so that we can go forward. Okay. How can I ensure high quality audio for our live stream?
All right, thank you very much.
High quality audio. Okay, I think maybe we should hold on the audio. Let's try something on internet connection, since Mr. Charles has really delved deep into it. What internet speed is necessary for a reliable stream? Go on, sir.
Okay. Just to be sure you can hear me, I hope I can be heard clearly.
Okay. Mr. Gbenga, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me clearly?
Okay, I can't hear Mr. Gbenga. Is it just me?
I can hear Gbenga. I think it might be from your end. I can hear Gbenga clearly.
Okay, since others can hear me, because Mr. Koyemi has been breaking, I just want to be sure I'm not the, it's not from my side. Okay, so since others can hear me, I'll just go ahead. So the question is, what's the recommended speed or required internet speed for streaming? I hope I got that right, and I'll just go ahead. So to answer that question, now I would like to answer that question first by explaining some technical things about streaming, and I'm not going to be afraid to go technical because I believe most people here are media people, right? And so if you're not technical, then I also believe that's one of the reasons for this webinar is to actually, it's like a mini training, okay, on some of the technical stuff about streaming. So like I always say, it's very, very, very important to understand some theoretical aspect of streaming, okay, so that you can do very well when you are actually practicalizing, especially when issues occur while streaming. Okay, having a good understanding of theory will help you troubleshoot. All right, I hope you can still hear me. Please just confirm if you can still hear me. Can anybody still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So now, firstly, what internet does, of course, we all know that without good internet, you can't stream. All right, but what internet is used for in streaming, in live streaming, is basically to transfer data, okay, whether video data or audio data over the internet, all right, to several people streaming on the internet via a streaming server, okay? So when we talk about data transfer in streaming, all right, we measure the quality of data that's been transferred using what we call bitrate. Okay, so bitrate is actually the quality. Okay, it determines the quality of the audio, both audio or video data that you are transferring from your computer over the internet. Okay, so the amount of or the quality of internet you need to transfer either video or audio data over the internet to a streaming server is determined by the size or by the encoding setting, okay, of the data you are trying to transfer. Okay, so so I would like to answer the question from the other way to say that what you're encoding actually determines the internet speed you need. So, okay, so if you're in an environment where you have poor internet, okay, so one way to work around that is actually to reduce the bit rate, okay, of the data you are encoding, whether video or audio. All right. So the bit rate actually determines the quality of internet that you need. Okay. So the stronger your internet, okay, so this is a general rule now. So the stronger your internet, the higher your bit rate can go. Okay. So bit rate is basically the number of bits that you process while sending file over the internet. All right. So if you want to send, so another thing about bitrate is that bitrate determines the quality, okay, of either video feed or audio feed that you are going to be able to transfer over the internet. Okay. So the higher the quality of internet you have, it means the higher the quality of video feed or audio feed you will be able to stream, okay, to either viewers or listeners all over the, streaming your event or program, from all over the world. Okay, so the question is, if you want to stream high quality video or high quality audio, okay, which can be achieved by setting a high bit rate in your encoder, all right, then you know that you need a very strong internet connection, okay? So if you want to stream HD, for example, okay, which is 1080, then you need at least not less than what I usually recommend. The speed also determines on whether you are using a dedicated internet connection or a shared bandwidth connection. Okay, so with dedicated, I know most internet service providers like Tizeti, provide, and even MTN and these other people, other telecoms companies provide dedicated internet. Okay, so with dedicated, you need a minimum to do 1080. I usually recommend a minimum of 15 Mbps. That's dedicated. Dedicated is different from shared internet bandwidth. Okay, so 15 Mbps on a dedicated network, okay, is much more stable and stronger than, let's say, for example, 35 Mbps on a shared network. Okay, that's another thing people need to realize when calculating internet requirement they need. So if you have 15 Mbps up, because just as Mr. Charles has said, when you are doing live streaming, especially one-way live streaming, the major speed you should be looking at is the upload speed, not download speed. Okay, so one mistake a lot of people make is when they're trying to research or when they're trying to make inquiries for the quality of internet available for their streaming. Some people mistakenly consider download speed. So probably they see the internet available that has, let's say, 15 Mbps download, and they don't check the upload. And most ISPs actually don't optimize the upload speed, okay, of their internet, because they believe most internet users actually use internet for download. Okay, when you're surfing the internet, you're actually using the download speed. When you're browsing, when you're watching movie, okay, on your computer or your phone, you're actually using the download, you're consuming the download speed of the internet. But when you are streaming, you are actually uploading, okay? You need to focus on the upload speed, okay? So when I say 15 Mbps minimum, I'm talking about the upload speed. So if you go to an ISP and they tell you, okay, our speed is maybe a dedicated speed, we're giving you 15 Mbps, you should always ask, is it up or down? And you are much more interested in the upload speed, not the download speed. Watch, I'm be very careful about that. All right.
Yeah.
So for dedicated minimum of 15 Mbps on upload speed, it's stable. You can do 1080, 1080p. With that, I've tried different speed, but 1080, 15 Mbps has worked very, very well dedicated. Then on shared, one thing about shared internet service is that it's not it's because it's being shared by multiple people. So it depends if you're using MTN or Airtel, okay, and you're using the shared network. If you check the speed using tools like fast.com, you can be 30 Mbps up and down. All right, but that 30 Mbps is it could work, but just like Mr. Charles said, there's one thing about you getting a high speed. Another thing is reliability of the connection or sustainability of the speed. All right. So if you have 30 Mbps, for example, it can work, okay, but you can quickly start noticing degradation over time. Okay. So you just have to, factor that in. So one thing, our advice is whichever internet you are using, okay, if you are not sure about the stability, okay, of your internet connectivity, is better to play safe and, stream at a lower bit rate or at a lower quality. Okay, you can step it down to 720p is always very safe for video streaming if you are not too sure about your internet, because the highest streaming quality for video right now is that the kind of network we have, which is 4G. I know there are 5G networks available now that can do beyond 1080. All right, but if I'm not using 5G, that's the original 5G, not the fake 5G that we have everywhere now. All right, because most of the 5Gs being promoted right now are not actually 5G. Okay, they're 4 point something G, but they just call it 5G. Okay.
So let me hold you there a little, sir. How do I identify the proper 5G?
So you can't identify it. You just have to know that the 5G connection, the 5G technology itself is still being worked on. Okay, I have friends who are working in Canada who are working. I have a friend who works with what's the name of this company again? I forgot. It's a telecoms company, and he's actually one of the people that has been making extensive research and implementing, the 5G technology. So he told me, he was one that actually told me this. He said most of the 5Gs we are seeing out are not the real original. That the real 5G connectivity is actually still being tested, it's still being worked on. Most governments in advanced nations have not actually fully deployed this. All right. So when you see MTN saying we have 5G, from a reliable source, I know it's not actually it's fast. Yes, quite all right, can be faster than 4G, but not the actual 5G. So based on that information, I know that truly the 5G network has not really been fully established. There's still competition between telecoms companies. One will come out and say, yes, we have the 5G technology, we're the first. Okay. China, telecoms company in China are actually racing and competing with some telecom companies in the US, on who is the first to deploy it. So it's out in some countries, okay, but it's not widespread yet. All right. So let me just talk on that. So if you are using a high-speed network, you are very sure can stream 1080. Okay, then you can still 10. But if you are not sure, do 720. Okay, minimum. Now, while streaming, at times you notice that the network you are using, especially if you're not using internet bonding, if you're not using an aggregator, you notice that your internet drops, okay, and your video starts buffering, okay.
Yeah.
What you can do at that point in time is downgrade your bitrate, the quality of the video that you're streaming, okay. Can downgrade stream at 720, downgrade it to 480. All right, it's still better for people online. So I'm saying this because I realize I know I'm talking to people, media people across different churches, okay, from small churches, from those who are just started streaming to those who are in churches that are well established, that have all the equipment. Okay, so I have people who are streaming in mind. So that's why I'm saying this. So you are streaming and the degradation in your internet connection, you can always step it down. You don't have to necessarily say I must stream at 720. Okay, it's better for people to have a less quality video, but they can still hear, they can still hear what is being preached, than insist on streaming a very high quality 1080 with a poor network, and the streamer viewers or listeners can't see, or they can't see clearly, and they can't even hear. If they can hear, it's still manageable. But when it's both buffering and they can't see anything, it doesn't help anyone. So it's better you can step the quality down to 480. And if 480 is still struggling, your internet is still struggling to carry 480, step it down to 320. So that's one of the ways by which you can manage, even if you have a very poor internet connection. So to answer the question straightforward, minimum of 15 Mbps depending, if you want to stream the highest quality 1080p, minimum you need is 15 Mbps dedicated, okay? And for a shared, nothing less than maybe 30 Mbps up. I hope I was.
Fantastic. Okay, I will throw this question to Mr. Charles. I will throw two questions.
Before you throw the question, can I make a quick comment on internet speed? So, one of the things we've done, we've tested and over time, and some of the lessons we've learned is, I told you at our church we implement a cloud solution, right? And one of the benefits we've gotten over time is there's this protocol, SRT protocol for streaming signal. Is a server to server connection. It's not supposed to deliver to clients. So rather than me just streaming from my local production site, right, I send my signal via SRT to my cloud production site, right? And then for my cloud, because I have significant bandwidth in the cloud, I can now stream to my platform in the cloud. Now, what we discovered over time is with SRT protocol, you can, even if your internet has a lower bandwidth, lower than maybe the 15 Mbps, trust me, what our guest just spoke about, you need minimum 15 Mbps to ensure 1080p. That's the truth. Yeah. But what we discovered that over time, what we could do is You can reduce your setting. You can say, okay, let me stream at 3 Mbps for instance, or 4 Mbps for instance, right? On your setting, and then introduce a latency because of your internet provider, your internet service provider. You introduce a latency, maybe a latency of 30-second latency. What happens over time is because you are using SRT protocol, your packet still gets to your server as full 1080p. It's just that you have to introduce latency on both server and clients from on both servers, server to server, the same latency. It still gets there. It's just that because you've given enough time, enough 30 seconds delay, it buffers before it gets there. Do you understand what I mean? Then from the cloud, you can now introduce it. So your online audience will be having a 30 seconds. You know what I mean? There won't be. Pastor can be on stage by 9 o'clock, but online it will be maybe 9:01 that he's on stage, if you understand what I mean. However, because of that latency you've created, you ensure your full HD is going to your server in the cloud, right? And then you stream from the cloud to various platforms at full HD. That's one of the implementation we did. Now, apart from that, like some other cloud implementation allows also for SRT protocols. For instance, I heard latest Caster allows for SRT, and Caster also does some form of cloud-based too. So if you subscribe to Caster, for instance, you can send from your vMix to your Caster using SRT with a latency of 30 seconds, for instance, and then you create the same latency on the Caster end at that point in time. But what happens is your Caster now send your signal, your full packets at the end of the day, which is 30 seconds later, more or less, and sends it to your platform at 1080p. So some of these workarounds we have to do in Nigeria, because if you go to get a 15 Mbps dedicated, trust me, it's not cheap. I'm sure I'll guess we tell you it's not cheap. It's actually not cheap. To get a 15 Mbps, you get from May1, maybe from MTN, you could pay as much as 100,000 to sometimes 200,000 on a monthly basis. Do you get? Yeah. So if you are not yet ready for that, right, which is the best recommendation anyway, but if you're not ready for that, then you can work around such solutions. Now, like I said, you don't just, regardless of all we said here, remember to test and confirm that what you are seeing is what you expect. Do you get? Because I can give you these recommendations and you go to the market and you go to your church and say, oh, let's do that. But it's always wise, like I said, to proper consultation, do proper testing. You can even visit a place that have done such implementation and see how it works. Then you can now start investing on what you need to do. That's just what I wanted to say.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. All right. So the question I wanted to ask, somebody put it on our group: constant bit rate or variable bit rates, considering Nigerian use case.
Okay. So even when I even had to do a research on that, and I think the major difference between constant and variable bit rate is one of them sacrifice. Let me just do a quick read from some notes I jotted down, right?
Okay.
So that you can get a full understanding of that, because I had to jot down something. Although I know constant bit rate is one of the is best, I think, for our climb, but so what it says is constant bit rate aims at keeping the number of bits constant while sacrificing video quality. So while variable bit rates varies bits delivered each second in order to favor video quality. Do you understand? So let me read that again. In general, constant bit rate aims at keeping the number of bits constant while sacrificing video quality. Variable bit rate varies the number of bits delivered each second in order to favor video quality. Now, why do I say I'm thinking here because I'm researching, so maybe other people can jump in. Why does constant bitrate I think is better than variable bitrate is the fact that for me, I can sacrifice video quality as long as they can hear me, like my guest said. Do you get?
Yeah.
So if the people can hear me and because of my internet speed, your internet speed, let's say is 2 Mbps. You've tested it and you know that the minimum you have upload is 2 Mbps, and then you put a constant bit rate of 2 Mbps on your settings, for instance, your stream settings. What happens is when you're having a degraded internet or for some things or reasons, all you just see is that the video quality drops, but your stream is still going through. However, for variable bitrate, your application tends to try and push in more bits just to ensure you get your 1080p. So when your internet service seems to be fluctuating, what you have is you have like a broken stream and people can't hear you. They don't know what you are doing. Do you get? So for me, I would think, because I know I think they just implemented constant bitrate on vMix, if I'm not mistaken, some few months ago. And even in the vMix forum, all of them everybody was saying, yes,
Okay.
this is what we're looking forward to, all that and all that. So in a sense, I think for streaming, constant bitrate seem to be more acceptable than a variable bitrate. However, I'm still researching it. So anybody that has comments on this can throw it in, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's leave. You want to say something, Mr. Gwenga?
Can I just add
Okay, quickly, please.
Yes. So again, I mean, well answered, Mr. Charles. Again, but I just want to add again that just like I said earlier, which bitrate type you use largely depends on the quality of your internet. All right. It depends on the quality of your internet. So if you have high quality internet,
okay,
actually VBR, that's variable bitrate, is the best. All right, it's actually the best because, like he has said, VBR ensures quality. It maintains the quality of your video. It ensures you have good quality at the end of the day. So, of course, if you have high internet speed, nothing should stop you from having a good output that will not be compromised. Again, the major problem with internet when you're researching about internet in Nigeria is not about the speed. If an ISP tells you they have, 30, they give 40 Mbps, that is not the problem. That 40 Mbps, is it going to be constant? If you have a 3 or 4 hours meeting, is it going to be 40 Mbps all through? So you have to factor in the fluctuation. Okay, so knowing that, so if you use variable bitrate, so what happens is that if you use variable bitrate, what happens is that as your internet connection speed is dropping, okay, it means the quality of the video that's being, what's it called? If you use a CBR, that's constant bitrate, what happens is that as the internet connectivity is dropping, all right, the quality of the video that's been encoded also drops, okay? And once the speed comes up again, the quality also increases, okay? That's with CBR. So the quality of the video keeps fluctuating. And at the end of the day, when people are watching again, they will notice the fluctuation in quality. All right. So, but if the quality of your internet is very, 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 very good and stable, all right, variable bitrate.
Go for variable.
Yes, is
fantastic. Okay. Okay. So let's quickly delve into high quality audio. Like you said, we can forgive bad picture, but most audiences across the world cannot forgive a bad audio. So how do we ensure we have high quality audio for our live stream? Are there specific microphones or audio setups that you would recommend? Mr. Gwenga first.
Okay, thank you very much. So one simple rule of live streaming that we must always remember is that what you get is what you stream. All right. If you're handling live streaming operation, you don't produce the audio that's being streamed. Okay. Your job is to receive input, all right, from the video team and the sound engineering team and plug it into your streaming software. Streaming software encodes and transmits. So you're only a transmitter, okay? You're only managing the transmission process, okay? So if the quality of your audio that is being produced or that's been sent to you is poor, there's no magic you can perform. The quality of the audio you are streaming is going to be very poor. Your streaming software is not going to be able to perform any magic to make it right. So the most important thing, where you start to determine quality from is from the quality of audio being produced in-house. All right. So you have to ensure that that's where you start from. And that has to do with the equipment you have. Do you have, what kind of audio mixer, do you have, what kind of microphone is being used in-house? All right. In this case, you don't need internet to determine that. You just need microphone, you need good sound mixing. You might even have good equipment, but if the sound engineers are mixing low quality sound, okay, and that's what they're sending to you, and there's really no magic you can perform. All right. So first, ensure that the quality of the sound being produced in-house and being mixed and being sent to you is of a high quality. Okay. So once that is guaranteed, all right, then your streaming software, does the rest. And this is also determined by the live audio streaming software that is being used. All right. Now, I think this is a good time to mention that right now in Nigeria today, or in Africa, from the research I have made and my team has made, before now there was only one audio streaming software that's being used across Africa. Okay, and that is Mixlr. Okay, and but today I'm glad to say that Mixlr now has a much better competitor in Wavestream. Okay, which was I'm glad to say that was developed by my team. All right. So one of the things we did with Wavestream was basically to create functions within Wavestream to ensure the quality of audio being streamed is much more better. Okay, so now I can say, before now, I can really say that the quality of audio you're able to stream, even if you have high quality audio from the sound engineering team in your church, is going to be determined by the audio streaming software you're using. For example, Mixlr encodes in MP3. The final output of Mixlr is an MP3, okay, which is standard, which is average, okay. But today, with Wavestream tried to do something better by introducing AAC, okay, and there's a reason why we said to encode in AAC, because AAC is an audio format that's actually the latest audio encoding format right now in the audio industry. AAC encodes at a higher quality, okay, but maintains a small file size. And that's the latest what's called breakthrough in the audio encoding space, okay? So right now I can tell you that having I'm sorry, I'm not marketing Wavestream, but I will just say that
we'll charge you after the event. We'll charge you after the don't worry. I truly wanted you to explain what is going on with Wavestream, and this is a very good opportunity. So go on, sir. Go on, sir.
Thank you very much. So, so right now I can tell you that now there is a better audio streaming software in the market that's offering, far so many better features. I've been using Mixlr for over 7 to 8 years, and we got to a point where we needed more. We needed much more power in the audio streaming space. And personally, I searched online for that better audio streaming platform. I couldn't find any. And we decided, my team, to take the matter into our hands and decided to build that better platform. So actually, Wavestream was developed first for my team, for ourselves. I needed a better audio streaming software because I wanted to be able to stream a high quality audio, and I wanted to be able to allow listeners to be able to pause the live stream and rewind while streaming live, just like we can do on YouTube, okay? And Mixlr was not giving me that option. And so many other things I wanted to be able to do, but Mixlr was not giving that option to do. So when we started working on Wavestream, those things were top on our list. High quality audio streaming was top on the list, all All right, so we decided to go with AAC encoding. Okay, and so right now I can tell you if I stream with Wavestream, you'll get the highest quality of audio because we're using the latest and the best audio encoding format right now. Okay, so the streaming software you use determines the high quality audio that you're able to stream, provided audio being produced in-house is clean and is of high quality. All right, thank you very much.
All right, so some people advise you send a separate audio mix. I'm reading from the comments now. Yeah. For live streaming, different from FOH mix. What do you recommend? I think I've seen a scenario where you have 3 different types of audio, one for page, one for FOH, and one for broadcast. So what do you think about that setup? What does it afford you? What does it help you do? Or what are the advantages?
Okay, so for that, so we're talking about mixing.
Yes.
So usually how you mix for in-house is very much different from how you mix for online. Don't forget, when you are sending anything online, it gets a bit compressed. That's number one. Okay, so when you are mixing for those who are in-house, the set of speakers you are using, the output is different. Okay, what determines how you mix is basically the set of speakers, amplifiers and other things you have in-house to push out the sound. Okay, but when you are online, the output, the audio output or the output device is determined by the devices people are using to stream. Okay, so the output of streaming on the phone, is different from the output of sound coming out from the computer and different from the output coming out from the TV. Okay, so there is a certain way you mix for online. So that's why most people separate, like my church. They do, sound engineers mix separately for online. Okay, they separate a channel. So the person mixing what is being mixed for the online audience is quite different from what is being mixed in-house. Okay, because of the peculiarity of the different mixes. So it's highly, if you want to do standard audio streaming setup, it's highly recommended to separate both. Separate the mix for in-house from the one that is going online. So another thing also is that volume control. Okay, so the time the volume of the output, sound output in-house, okay, the volume that is okay for those who are in-house because they are closer to the speaker, and of course, because of big speakers and the amplifier, it's different from the volume. That volume might not be enough, okay, for what is being streamed. Or at times, the volume of what is in-house might be very, very high, and it might be too, if you send the same output to those who are listening online, it might be too high for those who are online, and it will cause the audio to be clipping, and those online will not enjoy the, Okay, so what usually happens if you have a single mix is that while the people streaming online are complaining that the audio is too low or the audio is too high, okay, you have to reduce the volume, okay? And by the time you reduce the volume, it now becomes too low for those who are in-house, okay?
Sure.
Again, increase the volume for those who are in-house, it might affect those who are online. So it's always good to separate it so that if those online are complaining about low volume, all you just need to do is to increase the volume for the volume of what you're sending to what is going online, and you don't need to touch the volume of those listening in-house. So it's best practice to separate both. I recommend it. But again, like I said, not everybody have the luxury of implementing such setup. All right. So I guess you just have to make do with what you have, and are able to step up to implement all these things.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you.
Can I throw in a short comment?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yes. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, Mr. Gbenga, Wavestream. We've been looking for a way to have a platform where we can rewind our audio. So don't worry, we'll talk after now. Okay. So first of all, everything Mr. Gbenga said is accurate to the point. So if you notice, it aligns with where we started from, where we said start from where you are. Do you understand? The best practice is, in fact, to have your own broadcast room. You have a broadcast room for online. You have your broadcast mixer a digital broadcast mixer where a sound engineer dedicated to the online audience. They mix sound specifically for the online audience. That's your best practice. You have a soundproof enclosed room where sound from the church is not affecting you when you're mixing your sound. So that's the best practice. However, sometimes you may not be able to do that. So some of the workaround is what Mr. Gbenga said. First workaround is let the person mixing front of house have a separate mix, a separate channel. Preferably you're using a digital mixer that works best, and then you send it to the online guys. Another thing you can do if you don't have a digital mixer or something to do a separate mix for, what you can do is just have a small mixer that does just volume control. It doesn't need to be very expensive. So the guy from front of house send your signal to you, not directly to your system. It sends to a small mixer where you can do some form of volume control and adjustment. It won't give you the best, but at least you are starting where you are. But if you are able to separate your mix entirely, having your own broadcast station, that is always the best, even for video, not just audio. The best practice is to have a separate mix for online. In fact, there are churches that have certain cameras that are only dedicated to the online audience. It is not for the main church. You can have, when you see Hillsong, for instance, what their online audience is seeing sometimes is totally different from what the physical audience is seeing. So if you want to go with best practice, your video mixing should be separate. Your video mixing for your online audience is totally different from your your video mixing for your physical audience. Your audio mixing for your online audience is totally different from your audio mix for your physical audience. Like I said earlier, your online indirectly rides on the production of your physical church. So before you go investing in the online, you need to first of all invest in the physical church, because that is what it rides on. For instance, you don't have a crowd mic in your audience. How would you be able to capture sounds from the crowd? Online. There is no way you can do that. Remember, your aim is to try and give as much the same experience of the physical church. You want to give it online. So before you start talking about buying mixer here, buying mixer there, just at least get out mic. First of all, capture the audio from your crowd while you are capturing audio from your what they call it, from your singers and from your pastor. You also capture the audio. So when people are shouting hallelujah, it is not just indirect sound that the audience is hearing. They are hearing the full content. And something Mr. Gbenga said on audio, AAC. I think one of the benefits of streaming in AAC is, I think if I'm not mistaken, AAC does stereo sound as against MP3 that is kind of mono, if I'm not mistaken. So meaning that you can even... I'm correct, right, Mr. Gbenga, right?
Actually, AAC does both.
But the interesting thing with stereo sound is, you know how you can literally get a mix where what you are hearing on your left ear and what you are hearing from your right ear is slightly different. So those things are very important. So if you invest well in the audio, in your physical audience, then you can translate that excellence into your online audience. So before you go investing big online, first of all, set up your physical church very well. Your physical production should be on point, because one way or the other, that is going to go online before you can even upgrade to separate your production.
True. Absolutely. Okay, Mr. Charles, I just want to ask you this one. I think we've already overshot the time, but we will take some grace. What are the key steps to building an effective volunteer team, to very specific, to manage our live stream operation? Because like you said, there's a team that should be dedicated to the in-house, and there's a team that should be dedicated to the online live stream. What are the steps there? What are we supposed to do? What am I looking at?
So I think the most important term in that statement you made is the word volunteer. Why did I say that? Is because if it's to get people to do the job, you can pay people and they will do an excellent job. Trust me.
Exactly.
Just if you have the money, just go and get people, get a sound engineer, get this. But when it comes to building a volunteer team that
Mhm.
does excellent work, first of all, you need to understand that volunteers are not being paid. So
Yeah.
the first step, whether you're talking about online streaming, whether you're talking about anything in the house of God, is you need to realize that that does not happen by your power alone. So the first thing is pray. That's the truth. You know how the Bible says that the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few, right? Am
Yes.
I correct? That
Yeah.
pray the Lord of the harvest what you get. So the truth
Mhm.
is the first key to building a volunteer team is you need to pray. And the next thing is you also need to come up with a structure, come up with a plan. You don't need to have your volunteer team available before you create like an organogram saying, okay, I need a sound engineer. I need 3 people that can do sound engineering so that I can rotate them so that there's no burnout. Do you get? I need
Yes.
so number. We don't need to wait till you have it before you plan it. You can plan it. Then the
Mm.
next thing is, like I said, start from where you are. Who are the people you have now? Jesus didn't start with 12 or 120. He started with 3. He started with 1. Then he added 3, added 12. There are levels of. So in every volunteer team, like one of the things I was discussing with my leaders is, in every
Mhm.
volunteer teams, you have the experts who is
Mm.
very good. Usually that is at the leader because he has been there long. He has tried and tested a lot of things. So you have an expert there, or sometimes you have someone that is very good that joins and is an expert from start. Then you have
Mhm.
the professional. He's not not professional. Sorry, the advanced. He's not an expert, but he's advanced. He knows what to do. He understands whatever. For instance, now I can say Mr. Gbengana is an expert because he understands all those encoding terms. Why me? I'm at advanced level. Do you get? You have the people that are at intermediate level. They are just there. They don't know everything. Then you have the people that are beginners, right? Now, the truth is, you must come up with a mentorship plan and a training plan to move people from beginners level to intermediate level, from intermediate level to advanced level, from advanced level to expert level. The truth is, from advanced to expert, there's largely nothing you can do. The people themselves must want to grow to that level. You can do so much to move someone from beginner
Beginner.
to intermediate, even
Mhm.
intermediate to advanced you can do. But to move from advanced to expert, the team must be ready to go and buy courses. Is that one is personal development? You can't do much about that. So you as the leader must first of all model it. You must
Mm.
model knowledge and growth in your skill for people to follow. Do you understand? Your people
Yeah.
must be able to see you and say, oh, this person knows what he's doing. I want to learn from him. Then one thing that is very key to building a volunteer workforce is you must genuinely care for the people you are leading.
Mm.
We have one problem in church. I as a leader, I've messed up in this area too, where you only call people when you want to talk to them about when they will be in service. You only call them on Saturday and say, "Will you be in church on Sunday?" And you want
Well,
to
uh,
build
week.
an effective volunteer workforce. It's not possible.
Very
If you have
true.
not prayed for your people during the week, you've not started now. You must pray
Very,
for them, and there's no way to pray for people constantly that you won't engage them. If you pray for somebody on Monday, you pray for the person on Tuesday. The Holy Spirit will lead you to call the person Wednesday. Do you understand? To
yes.
talk about his life. How much impact are you giving to the people you lead? Before you are, my pastor used to say, before you can ask for somebody's hand, right? You must give your heart. Do you
Mm.
understand? Before you say someone should be there Monday, there Tuesday, do this, go all night, set up all night, you of yourself, you must give your heart. You must dedicate yourself. See, how come? What was Jesus doing in Peter's house that he needed to? Is it Peter? Is it Peter that the mother was ill or something? Do you get? You know,
Yeah.
he was involved in their lives. You cannot be say I'm a leader. You don't even know where the person stays. You don't know how many siblings he has. You don't even know what he's studying in school. You don't know what level of education he has. You don't know whether he has transport to come to church. And you want to build an effective volunteer workforce. No, it will not work. You must care for
Mm.
the people genuinely. You may not, your span of care may be small. You can. When we started Harvesters Lekki Media, I think about over 10 years ago, it was me and two people. We started now. It was more. Today we have a workforce of close to 60 to 70, if I'm not mistaken. But it all starts with, okay, how do I,
Wow.
three people you have, how much are you impacting on them? Those people are the ones that would impact on other people later on. Do you understand? Start from where you are, but care for the people you have. Then as you grow, start growing leaders. Don't just grow people that understand technical knowledge. Grow people that also understand leadership. I would rather work with someone that has zero technical experience, but is available, right? Is constant, right? Is reliable. And work with someone that has 100% skill, but when you call him, you say, ah, sir, I woke up late. I can't come to church today. Ah, no problem. I would love you, but I would put you on probation. Do you understand? Because you need to maintain, there are points in your leadership where you have to have the heart of father, and there are points you have to have the heart of a boss. There are points you have to have the heart of a coach. Do you understand? And then there are points you have to have the heart of a what do you call it? Yeah, boss, coach, and father majorly. Do you get? You
Yeah.
can't always sit down and say, oh, you are smiling every day. There are days you don't smile, but there are days you should. But there are many days you should smile. Do you understand? But you must ensure you have the vision. You yourself, you have to have a vision. Then, sorry, one last thing. Standard culture. You must model the culture you want people to follow, right? And then you must communicate your standards. Don't leave the standards in your head. You want people to be in church by 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Communicate it. Let them know the expectations. Then, when you communicate that standard, you must leave it to. Not that people should come in by 6:30. You're strolling in by 7. Say, how are you guys doing? Are you done? No, you don't do that. You must model the standards that you are communicating. The culture you want to see, you have to live it. I hope that helps.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me, Mr. Charles?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. All right, I think we need to start wrapping up now. Let me just ask Mr. Gbenga first to give us a wrapping word, a wrap-up word. Then I'll come back to Mr. Charles. Mr. Gbenga, what are your final words?
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to say, I mean, one thing you mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, was that the main purpose of streaming, live streaming, is actually to publish or to broadcast what is happening live in the church physically to thousands, hundreds or thousands or millions of people online. Okay, and that is actually the purpose, and that should be the vision of every live stream producer. All right. The moment that is not done, then the purpose of the live streaming setup has been defeated. And there's one thing I usually tell my team is faithfulness or commitment. I mean, whatever we do while streaming live actually has a long way, of affecting souls online. Okay, what we are doing as live stream operators or managers is actually to preach alongside, the pastors. Okay, the pastors who are, blessing the people within the hall. And like you rightly said earlier, in the church's physical gathering, you can have, even if you have 2,000 people, okay, the number of people you have online, okay, whether live or later, because that's another thing, you might even have less than 2,000 people streaming physically, streaming live at that point in time. But one thing about live streamed event is that the streamed event stays online, and it can stay online for as long as 10 years, 15 years. Okay, so that message that was preached today can go ahead and bless somebody in the next 5 years, and you don't even know how far-reaching that could go. All right. So while handling streaming production, I usually tell my team that what's it called now? Commitment is non-negotiable. Okay, seriousness, commitment to excellence is not negotiable. Now, in streaming, 3 seconds is a whole lot. 3 seconds is enough to distract souls online. Okay, so what we do while producing a live event is much more, it's much more beyond the technicalities of streaming, or that we just want to get something out. We are actually, it's much more spiritual, than we think, and we ought to see it that way. All right, so we are actually ministers, like I usually say, and we should see the spiritual side of our operation. All right, so I just want to say that we should see the spiritual side of our work beyond all the technicalities. Okay, whatever is happening in the all must be well and perfectly represented to millions of people who are streaming online, and lives are going to be touched. So I just want to say that. And lastly, I want to encourage everyone on this meeting that Wavestream was actually developed for everyone, for the media community. Like I usually say, it's a community-based software. A number of media professionals came together to brainstorm and suggest on the features that we put together on the software. So it's a win for the media community, because we wanted something we can control. We wanted something we can determine the features that will be on it. All right, so I want to encourage everyone to go to the Wavestream website, wavestream.io, sign up, get a free 30 days unlimited broadcast time. And you don't have to think about how you subscribe in dollar anymore. Recently, Mixlr have stopped monthly, or they've increased the price of monthly subscription, because they want people to actually do yearly subscription, which is a lot of cost already, especially for small churches. All right, but even if you're a big church, you don't need to actually pay in dollar anymore, for something that will give you less features. So please hop on Wavestream, pay in Naira, get wonderful features, and be part of the wonderful community, and be a proud stakeholder of Wavestream, which was developed by you and me, in Africa. So thank you very much for this opportunity, Mr. Okoyemi.
Mr. Charles, let's have your wrap up.
Okay, so my final words. I'm
Yes.
just going to read a portion of scripture to just buttress what Mr. Gbenga just said. There's this scripture in Habakkuk I like a lot. It says, "For the earth shall be filled," Habakkuk 2 verse 14, "for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters covered the sea." I think there's only one way that can happen: via streaming, via online streaming, via broadcast.
Absolutely.
That is the truth. So, Mr. Gbenga saying that we are more or less preaching, like we are more or less the one carrying the message from the pastor to the world, is so true. So what that means is, if you're a church leader here, let's say you're not a technical, but you're a church leader here, please do not compromise on your online community, on trying to push your message, the message of Jesus rather, to the online space. Your maximum, even if you're a very big church, you might end up having 10,000 capacity, but in one stream you can reach 100,000 people, you can even reach 1 million people. So I don't think we should compromise on that. As the body of Christ, we should not compromise on that. As a technical person in the house of God doing the live stream, don't treat it as one of the things we do. Every number you see that is joining is a soul that Jesus is trying to reach, or that Jesus is trying to improve their life. so their lives. So don't take it for granted that yes, it's just. I mean, there's always this priority. If you're not careful, the media teams in church tend to prioritize physical service over online. But Mr. Gbenga said, if you have a blackout in church for like, let's say 5 minutes, people will stay. They're already there. But when you have a 5 seconds, 10 seconds blackout on your online audience, you lose like 30% of them almost immediately, and they will not join again. There's nothing you can do.
True.
Do you understand? So you don't want to compromise your quality in terms of reliability, in terms of that stream going out. So when Mr. Gbenga mentioned that you can compromise a bit on video, and as long as your audio is being heard, I said yes, because that's the truth. It's the gospel we are preaching. So if you have to manage your infrastructure to just ensure that gospel go out with not necessarily 1080p, you are doing 480p or something, please do it. What is very important is that they hear God's word, not necessarily see how beautiful your church is. Even though that is important, because we also have to set excellence in the house of God. But start from where you are. That's very important. Start from where you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think we're going to have a second version of this meeting. There's still a lot to talk about that we didn't touch, and I'm sure people can see that this session has been very impactful. Both of our guests are knowledgeable, and Mr. Charles was being very humble. He said he's not an expert. Yeah, an expert, sir. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you, Mr. Charles. Thank you, Mr. Gbenga. Both of you have been invaluable on Church Media X community. I see what you're doing for people there. You're answering their questions. You're taking on their challenges. God bless you richly. Okay, we want to also let everybody know that we have a prayer control room that we want you to attend every single Saturday. Prayer control room is where we direct our services from the spiritual realm. We don't leave anything to chance. We don't think it's just going to happen by chance that we are excellent. It's not going to be by chance that we have spiritual people in our teams. No, we have to build the spirituality, and that comes from the place of prayer and the word of God. So join us every Saturday. Adua, if you can put up the poster so that we all can build these teams that can transform our nations and bring about the development of the kingdom of God. Okay, so anyone that has a question that wasn't answered, please go to the WhatsApp group and drop your questions. Someone will definitely attend to it. I want to say thank you to what's the name of okay, I want to say thank you to Brother Emmanuel. Emmanuel was the one that gave us the platform to Brother Emmanuel Bassi. Hey, somebody needs to mute there. Who is that? The baby wants to join. Is that we're live streaming to baby now? Okay, so I want to say a big thank you to Brother Emmanuel Bassi for affording us this platform to use for this this meeting tonight. Brother, God you.
Where is it? I said, baby, you want to?
That baby.
I go tap to speak.
God, that baby is going to be used by God. Hallelujah. All right, so we want to wrap up now. We say thank you to everyone that's been a part of this meeting tonight. Please, let's go on to the WhatsApp platform and just continue the conversation there. Thank you so much again, Mr. Charles. Thank you so much, Mr. Gbenga.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sirs. And thank you to Adura. Adura Migba is the co-founder of Church Media X, and he's also the technical head. He's the graphics head. He wears so many caps. Thank you so much, Adura. All right, thank you, everyone, and have a fantastic...
The WhatsApp number, please. The WhatsApp number.
Okay, it's not a WhatsApp number. It's a link that you have to click. Who is asking? Let me drop it here. At CMS space. Okay, that's the link in the chat. Can you click that link? It takes you directly to the WhatsApp group so that you are part of the community. Okay, thank you, everyone. I will leave the channel open for a few minutes so that everyone that wants to connect can connect to the community using the link I just shared. Thank you so much. Mr. Charles, Mr. Benga, you can leave now. We'll call you up later to wrap things up. But thank you so much again. Thank you. And thank you to everyone also.
Mr. Payami, you didn't send the link. You didn't send the link to all. Check again.
All right, can you see the link in the chat now? Check the chat. You'll see the link. Okay, Andre, I think you can stop recording.
Even when I fall your hand, you're still there on my mind. Lover of my soul, you know they break my heart. I'll sing about your mercy, I'll sing about your grace. Now you they bust my brain every night and day. Daddy, when you are, Daddy, when you bless, forever you're my father. You know they give the rest. I see your faithfulness. I bow down on my you are Alpha and Omega. Your goodness and mercy. They follow me up like Sasuke. I don't come here to come tap his own because this man not be bobo. You said cast your bread upon the living waters. And when I do so, when I come see I'm not jungle. But sometimes in the lose God and non lose God. But it's still a surprise Ronaldo how you did the show of Messi. Because the path of the church is like a shining light that shines brighter and brighter onto a perfect day. We always step into prepare blessing. God will put you all. So what thou great mountain? What did they worry? Who you be when God did? God is more real than Madrid. I said God is more real than Madrid. If God will be out of your matter, you get a short sleep of the first day. We are grateful for amazing.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining in.